We go. You guys ready? And playback.
Good morning.
Morning. It's May 1st, 2014. We're on the last of The Hobbits, which was just renamed to Battle of the Five Armies.
So we know it's Battle of the Five Armies. We know there's 5 armies. We just don't know how big it is yet.
We had not shot the bulk of the battle sequence.
We'd obviously shot all our hero characters going through their journey. You take him out, but then there's like 6 of them running at the same time. But actually what the armies did and how they interacted wasn't really glued together.
And we've got 25 weeks to go? 25 weeks to go, I think.
This now goes to the wide shot, the crane shot.
So Peter's juggling his time between actually cutting the film and with reviewing the work in progress.
So fire away.
I sort of went into the year thinking we weren't going to have more footage coming in, and we really had a year of post-production. I mean, at least that's the way we thought it was going to be, but of course it turns out that even though we don't have one scheduled, we did have an extra shoot. It was just a mocap shoot, and there was a lot of footage generated.
Okay, should we start really cracking some off?
It'll run very much like normal pickups, but it'll just be all virtual pickups.
And action.
And so 2014 saw a fairly intense period of post-production where we're not doing any more live action filming, but we are now creating a digital filmmaking studio, if you like, in the mocap stage, which allows me to keep shooting the movie in a virtual way.
And we're set, Peter.
Because I still have the AD, Dem across.
All right, here we go.
We've all been on the set for 2 years shooting these movies, and now we're just on a mocap stage, and we're still shooting.
Here we go. And roll, please.
And that's when the battle itself really started to take shape.
By the time this DVD comes out, we'll know if it did come together or not.
The biggest challenge for us was really trying to grasp the scope of the battle itself. 25% of the actual film is full CG shots, which means no live action at all in the shots. And 96% of the shots in the movie had visual effects in them.
There's a stigma with sort of digital effects, and especially something like, you know, the films that we make. I mean, you have to have a lot of digital effects because you simply cannot recreate this stuff any other way.
So in a battle that was largely digital, you know, the goal is to make it feel as realistic as possible. Without the sense of realism, it's just going to look very fake. You're going to snap the audience out of this sequence, and we didn't want to do that at all.
The difficulty then is you have a digital world that is in the hands of computer artists. They can create these incredible images on a computer screen, but they're not used to a live action film set. They're not used to carrying a camera on their shoulder. So I wanted to make sure that we were able to support them with people that had real world experience. And so, you know, Alan Lee and John Howe come from just a pencil and a paper, but they're thinking of light. That's what they have to do when they're creating their artwork, their paintings. And so they can be a huge benefit to the CG artists.
We are painting out green screens and painting in backgrounds, as well as doing general concept work for many sequences. So it's quite a mix.
So preparing the whole environment essentially for that battle and for those actions has been the biggest part of the job so far.
And, you know, art director like Simon Bright, we put him into the digital world as well.
You're trying to apply your trade in the digital world of what you do, what you know best in the physical world. You know, I knew what we did on the day as far as shooting it and what sets were built.
I think they really wanted, you know, art directors from the physical shoot to bring that continuity of what we built into the digital side. Peter wanted a critical art director's eye on every visual effect frame that was coming through.
You know, even though we're creating a lot of these films digitally, the way we like to work is to go back to the real world and use that as a touchstone as much as possible. Creating the battlefield was originally just to use some locations where we could stage parts of it, but it became apparent that we had too vast of a battlefield to find any one location.
You know, a place that doesn't exist. There's nowhere in the world you can go to visit this location.
However, there were lots of places, especially in the South Island, that had the characteristics of what we wanted the battlefield to be. Rock and Pillar being a good example.
What we had done on the aerial unit was go and shoot a lot of plates. We shot a lot of plates for the battle.
Yeah, let's do it.
We scanned these areas extensively, both for the terrain and the vegetation.
You know, we draw from the aerial photography, or we go out and shoot it ourselves at a lunch break and come back and process that. It's quite cool, actually, because it's all the pieces of New Zealand kind of chopped together into a shape that we want.
We just repurposed them and put them together again and gradually built the landscape out of different parts of New Zealand, just not in a way that you'd find anywhere if you went looking for them.
So it was always going to be a digital environment. And as the technology progressed, it became clear that it was going to be digital armies as well.